Hey, Luke here. Welcome to our Hump Day Q&A. We'll answer all your questions to do with health, fitness, nutrition, and your body transformation needs. Well, this week we have a wonderful question. This person wanted to remain anonymous. The question was, I would like to cut back on my alcohol consumption, not drink every day and not be so dependent on alcohol. I can get through the day and function fine, but I just would like to stop depending on it when I get home. I don't mind a social drink, but I find myself drinking at home, sometimes at midnight. Well, first of all, thank you very much for the great question. It was a fantastic question that you've asked here, and for myself, this really resonates with me, so thank you very much. In my life, I've had a lot of challenges with addiction. It's more so around the marijuana and smoking every day. I felt as though that to go to work I had to smoke, or when I get home I'd smoke, and middle of the night, same thing, I'd smoke. I could function through the day, but I'd have to be either high or be doing something like that. So thank you very much for the question. Because marijuana is a little bit different to alcohol, I've brought in one of my most beautiful friends here, Mellow. Now Chris, I first met Chris in 2011. Yep. Chris came into the studio, and at the time, he had some challenges in his own life with alcoholism and trying to get clean and sober. Now, a little story I'll tell you about Chris. He came in, his first time he came in, he said, I really want some change. He called up on the phone, I want to come do some training, get healthy and all this sort of stuff. I thought, great, excellent. And he came in, I could smell a little bit of alcohol on his breath, and he was a bit slurry, and I said, mate, how about you come back tomorrow morning, dry, sober, and 9 o'clock in the morning, he was there, bright, early, chipper, ready to go, and to his credit, he's come a long way in his own transformation of who he is as a human, but also not only that, he's kicked the drink to the curb. So I'll hand over to Chris now. Mate, first of all, share us a little bit about your story and where you've come from and how long you've been abusing for.
Sure, yeah, okay, so great mate of Lukey's, I walked in his door in 2011, and I'd been trying to get sober maybe for 9 years before that, having minor successes on and off, a couple of years here and there. And still not just alcohol, but recreational drugs, everything like that. So very much a party boy ever since I was a young boy. So this is a 30-year habit I was used to. So I had to create a really strong why for myself, or why I wanted to not do this anymore. So yeah, and I've got two beautiful sons, and they became my why. And it took a long time. And the reason it took a long time is because I filled myself a lot of the time as well, and thought that I would be able to moderate, and thought that I would be able to just get a handle on it. I'm not made up that way. 1 in 10 people exactly like me aren't made up that way, so we're nothing special. That's something good to consider. Absolutely. And anyway, so as I turned it around, I've turned this into a business. I'm now a recovery coach, and I've been sober a little bit over 3.5 years. I help a lot of people with addiction and alcohol issues, as well as training. That's what I do. I'm a PT. Luke helped me get me on that path. So that's why I'm doing what I'm doing.
Absolutely, mate. So tell me a little bit about your story, because I know that where you've come from in your past, you were using. And sometimes it becomes a bit of a habit, and because there's maybe nothing to do when you just get home or just whatever, it just becomes a habit to pick it up or just to escape. And Chris and I were talking before about just connecting with ourselves, and that for me in my past was a big thing for me, because I just wanted to connect to someone. I actually wanted to connect to myself, and the only way I could feel like I could connect to myself was through using drugs, and sit back, relax, I can just connect with myself. So, mate, tell us about your little story around your connecting with yourself.
Luke is right on the money with the connection thing. So whenever we are finding a substance or a mind altering or anything that takes over our way of life and becomes extreme, becomes an addiction. And the reason we get addicted to things because it meets our need for connection. The interesting thing is, when you're using mind-altering substances to feel connected to yourself, eventually they come up and crash and burn. And a classic example, I've been to 5 rehabs, had 2 accidental overdoses, nearly have been to prison from car crashes, drunken car crashes. None of that was enough to get me better. But what was, and this is a message to the person who said that, was I started to figure out how to feel connected to myself, connected to my own heart, connected to other people on the like-minded journey. So the big news is, if you really want to give this a red hot go, and that is Abstain from drinking alone. Abstain from alcohol overtaking your life. The thing you need to do is start to feel connected again. There's plenty of ways to do that.
Absolutely. I think a big thing that Chris has brought up is he realised what worked for him. So Chris couldn't just have a drink here or there. Chris had to go and go, no, full stop, I can't drink.
Yeah.
For some people, they can drink. Like Chris was saying, 10% of the population actually have an addiction and actually have a problem with, might be alcohol,
shopping,
might be any sort of addiction. Work is an addiction as well. Yeah. So they actually have those traits of being an addict. So, and look, for you, it may be something that you could have a couple with friends and socialise, and it's trying to find that limit for you. And if you can control that, awesome, well done. You know, for myself, I had to go cold turkey off my substance,
absolutely.
And Chris is the same way.
Yes.
So if you can control it, great, good on you, that's fantastic. But for us, we weren't able to control it.
And there may be a very good chance you can control it.
Absolutely.
Madam or sir.
Yep.
So if you can do that, that's well and good, but please set yourself a target. I would do this for 90 days. I would set myself a task. And in those 90 days, which is a season, that's why we have 4 seasons in a year, it's instrumental time, make sure that you only drink on social events. If you can get through those 90 days and nail that, even if you get loaded at a few of them, it doesn't matter, but only drink on social events, then you are in the right frame of mind to continue. That is sort of a normal drinking practice for Aussie people, because Australia has a culture of that. If you find yourself drinking a lot more in non-social environments or by yourself, then mate, you've got to do something. You've got to reach out. You've either got to get yourself to an AA meeting or make a call to a hotline that's available through the public system, or do something to reach out, because you don't want it to get to escalate to a problem where it got to me, right? I not only nearly hurt a lot of people around me, I nearly lost my life a couple of times. We don't want that to happen.
Absolutely not. All right, Chris, thank you very much for your time. Thank you very much for the question. Just to recap a couple of things. One would be, know within yourself, know your limits, know where you're at, know, like obviously Chris had to stop, I had to stop, know what your limits are. So set your boundaries and say, you know, like Chris was just saying then, social occasions, you know, it might be just on the weekend you have a couple, know your limits, know your boundaries. Also, get some help. You know, Chris and I both throughout the years have sought professional help, and that I think that's something that we both realised, like, yeah, there's a lot of stigma around that as well. Seek professional help you as well. AA, NA, which is Narcotics Anonymous as well, and plenty of different services that can help you. And if you want to reach out for Chris, it's Chris Mellow. You can find Chris,
Chris Mellow on Facebook. You'll see me everywhere. I'm Facebook blogger extraordinaire.
Maybe type in recovery coach Chris Mellow.
That'll be help, yeah. Or alternatively, just contact Lukey and he'll pass on my number. But one thing I would like to finish with, Lukey, is this is so very important where this person is right now at your crossroads. You have an opportunity to get a handle on this and live a glorious life. Let's hope you do it the right way, my friend.
Yep. Alrighty, take care. Woohoo!
Love Mel's.
Beautiful.